I always say the number one skill of an entrepreneur is the ability to sell or communicate. Number one, because sales equals income. So if your sales are down, your income's down. But it's not just selling your customer, you gotta sell your employees. That's really tough, you know. And then next is selling my investors. So I'm selling investors, I'm selling employees, I'm selling customers, and I'm selling myself. You know, I gotta talk myself into it. I don't have the pleasure of being down. Entrepreneurs have gotta be up. Because if you're down, your employees know it, your customers know it, the market knows it. So number one is sales. But when you look at the big picture, there's three things an entrepreneur must learn. Number one is PR. And what you're talking about is PR. The other day, Fox News interviewed me to find out if I would endorse my friend Donald Trump for president. You know how much that's worth? You know, they co-branded us. Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, and Trump. Yeah, that's incredibly priceless. You know, so getting PR is a number one skill. Under that is marketing. And what marketing does is like advertising. They want to set the customer up to get ready to buy. Oh yeah, I saw that Kia ad. I want to buy a Kia. I want to buy some land, and I want to buy this. So the customer is now primed to buy. That's marketing's job. And the last thing is a sale. So if you've done a really good job on PR, then you've done a great job on marketing. The sale is like that. You know, they walk in, they buy. But if you have no PR and you have no marketing, you have to pound, hard close. Well, Mr. Customer, you know, today's changing business environment. You know, you should buy my insurance and all. And people today hate sales pitches more than ever before. So the number one sales job of a true entrepreneur is to develop your ability to get PR. And I'll say it again, most entrepreneurs are not good at sales. They're horrible at marketing. They have no idea what it is. And they can't get any PR. And so they struggle. And again, sales equals income. So they crash. Keith Fuller said, you must trust your intuition. You know, and it's called your gut feeling a lot of the times. And scientists have just recently found out there's actually brain material in your gut. That's why you get a bad feeling. And that's kind of where intuition comes from. It's more from your gut rather than your brain. And my intuition kind of changed because I went to Vietnam twice. I was a good U.S. Marine pilot and all this. I was doing it for God, country, and America, you know, all this stuff. And one day I was standing on the battlefield in 1972 and I said, what am I doing here? You know, why am I killing these people? I don't hate them, they don't hate me. And that's when my life, you know, you start waking up as you grow older. So I learned to trust my intuition and say what I had to say. Like this book is about the future also. Fuller was a futurist. So for me to write Rich Dad, Poor Dad in 1997, nearly 20 years ago, was about the future. It wasn't about 1997. Your competition is the future because it's going to change so fast. And if you cannot adjust and change with it, then shame on you. I mean, that's the way I look at it. And if you think you know all the answers, then I'll pray for you also, because I definitely know I don't know all the answers. I went to military school, and I was a Marine Corps. The reason when I talk to military veterans, you probably have the most important skill of all, because all we're trained to do, whether you're a general or private, you're taught to be leaders. It is a number one skill of an entrepreneur is people skills and leadership skills. And unfortunately, most people don't have it coming into it. So when I do my talks to veterans and all this stuff, I really want to encourage them, you know, because they're pretty depressed because they can't get it, you know, they're a Walmart greeter, which is a good job. But they're afraid to take the leap into entrepreneurship. So, but military guys, I don't care what branch of service, just by the indoctrination process and the survival rate, whether you go to combat or not, is that you learn leadership skills, people skills. You've got to have that. I've had bad teachers as well as good teachers. The trouble is those cool teachers tell you there's an answer. There isn't an answer. There's trial and error. There's learning. You're going to make mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes, but they've been very good for me because I've learned from them. But schools tell you if you make mistakes, you're stupid. You want to stay small, be the smartest guy on the block. And that's why most accountants, most attorneys, most doctors never get rich. It's because they're too narrow. You know, they're experts in toenail removal or something, you know what I mean? Or my attorney, that poor guy is an A student, but he knows jack about outside of that. Whereas I never had, I flunked out of high school twice because I can't write. It's irony that I'm a writer today. But the reason I'm pretty good is because in the military, we're taught to be generalists, not specialists. So when I sit down with my team, I have accountants, I have attorneys, I have media guys, I have IT guys, I have graphic designers and all this. So I operate as a team, since I don't know anything. So in actuality, being a great entrepreneur means I could be the laziest guy and I can know the least. But I have to have a very smart team with just a ring finger around me. So because I was never smart, I had respect for people who are smart. And a lot of times I meet A students and they think they're the smartest guys on planet Earth. And that lack of respect is what keeps them small. And that's what most corporate guys want to do. Stay small, you know, you gotta climb that corporate ladder, you gotta beat the other guy to win the job, and it's all that stuff. It's not the way an entrepreneur really works. It's corporate, it's school system. You know, you gotta beat out for the grades, you gotta have the best grades. I don't have to be the best, but I have to hang out with. The team is the hardest part of the game. You know, that's like, okay, I'm gonna take on the Cleveland Cavaliers next year. Who am I gonna put on my team? Well, my brother-in-law, who's fat and ugly. You better choose your team really carefully. Or, you know, my son needs a job. He's a drug dealer, but he played basketball in high school. And that's what entrepreneurs do. They don't choose their team with any kind of precision. Now, I made that mistake. You know, I brought on like friends who thought they were entrepreneurs, and they're incompetent. You know, they were terrible. And I was terrible also. The difference is when we failed in our first business, I went on. They went back to their jobs. It's a very big difference in mindset. So all I'm saying here is this: if you're going to understand this, study entrepreneurs. Like I studied Edison, you know, I studied Gates, Jobs. My biggest hero of all is Jobs, Steve Jobs. I studied Walt Disney, Henry Ford, Tesla. You know, this guy Elon Musk, his Tesla car. Elon Musk is the new Steve Jobs. I mean, this guy is out of sight. Smart, he knows the game very well. I always say to people, it's your mental skills, how do you control your thoughts, emotion, because, you know, I have a bad temper. When I lose my temper, nobody likes me. So emotion. And then it's physical skills. If I look like, you know, a bag of dirt, and I'm not strong, people pick up on that. Health is important, you know that. And then spiritual. You know, I don't cheat on my wife. I don't cheat on my customers. I don't cheat people. I don't cut corners. If I can't do something, I'll tell you up front. If I screw up, I'll tell you. Do you know what I mean? I mean, as you and I know, there's a lot of scum out there who are entrepreneurs. But they have bad personal skills. They have bad responsibility skills. They're not legal, ethical, moral, and spiritual. And I think today, the way the world's going, you better legal, ethical, moral, and spiritual.